give me this life so sweet. 5,000 Tennessee skies. Rebel hearts beating in the summer night's disguise. Curfews, whispers in the dark. We wrote our story. It's the Junebug beating. That Junebug beat.
Well, a very warm welcome to the first ever race weekend of the GEDLICH Racing GT Summer Series. A brand new adventure, a brand new challenge for the organisers behind the ever popular Winter Series. Well, we're racing in the summer, the sun has been out and we are here this weekend racing at Hockenheim. My name is Izzy Browning and I'm delighted to say that I am joined by two familiar faces. If you've been with us during the Winter Series, you will know these two alongside me now. It is, of course, your commentators Adam Weller, Andy McEwen. Lads, it's great to see you outside of the winter. I mean, welcome to Hockenheim. How excited are you for this adventure?
Yeah, really excited for it. Obviously, for GEDLICH as an organisation, this is very much new ground in terms of race organisation, to be seeing some of our existing clients in the summer months, but then also picking up some new clients from the German region. We do have quite a strong customer base with GEDLICH in Germany, because we do race tests during the summer at circuits like Hockenheim here and Red Bull Ring and Nürburgring, etc. But a really interesting opportunity, and I think for me as well, being a bit of a specifically lower level German GT racing nerd, there are some teams here kind of graduating with us the summer series from some smaller German championships, and that means there's some names that I'm quite familiar with. I'm quite excited.
I think it's fair to say with motorsport you're an everything nerd, Adam. You know far more than any of us do, I think it's fair to say. I mean, Andy, like Adam said, we're in Germany. We're going to some tracks that you and I haven't been to before. We've got some really exciting tracks on the calendar, don't we?
It's perhaps what I'm personally most excited about, really. Hockenheim's, that's a new tick in the box for me. Oschersleben, a circuit I've never really thought I'd have an opportunity to go to. Really excited for that, and of course the famous Nürburgring. Spa I've been to before, but I'll go there any day. It's a fantastic place to go and spend a weekend. So yeah, really hoping that we get a few, as many people as possible along with us on this journey, and it's a great calendar of circuits, nice variety, Formula 1 grade circuits for the most part as well, which is something that generally appeals to the amateur racer. Yeah, all positives, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, speaking of the drivers, we've got them behind us. What do you think we can expect from this season? I know that's a hard question given we're literally on day one.
Yeah, it is, but I think we can expect some renewed rivalries in some cases. A lot of these drivers have been in racing for quite a time. You look at someone like Hermann Speck, who has been racing Porsches for almost 3 decades, and he's quite familiar with a few faces on this grid. So I think there are going to be some renewed rivalries, but also opportunities across the season for new competitors to do battle. And based on qualifying for this first race as well, I think we're going to kick off the season with a lot of fun.
Yeah, certainly so, and we certainly hope so. Right then, final question before I let you boys run off to the commentary box, because you've got to get ready. I mean, we've got some great cars on this grid, a real mix as well. Adam's given us a little preview. What do you think the racing is going to be like round here?
I think it's going to be good fun. You know, we're dealing with drivers who might have experience under their belt, but as we said, largely an amateur sort of base, and that's always guaranteed excitement. Multi-class racing as well, which I'm always a massive fan of. In general, we get that with GT Winter Series. Really nice to transfer that over into the Summer Series, but now with the inclusion of the GT4 cars onto the grid as well, it's sort of a, everyone's welcome here. You know, if you've got a car that you think might be eligible, you're welcome on the grid, and the more variety we get, generally the more excitement there is in the racing as well, when you get that intermingling of the classes. This, by the way, is really cool. I'm really enjoying the Heroes Arena. To see the cars all lined up behind us like this, I'm a bit jealous that you get to have a wander down here in a moment to speak to the drivers, but this is a great concept.
Well, on that note, we are going to have a wander down and speak to the drivers. Boys, I will let you go to the commentary box, enjoy this one, and we are going to take a wander down. As Andy just said, we are in the brand new Heroes Arena. I mean, this is a fenced off area of the paddock where our spectators can come down and meet the drivers up close and personal. We're going to start with our pole sitter though, and it is going to be Alex Croker. Now he is deep in conversation, but I will just grab him. Well, welcome to the GT Summer Series. I mean, great to have you, and on our grid, first pole sitter, that's bragging rights, first of all.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are also happy to be here, and my first race with the Pirelli on this car, so also quite, yeah, I would say a little bit challenging to get a good setup for the car with that kind of tire, so yeah, but we are improving.
Improving all the time and with every session, I'm sure. For this first race, what do you think we can expect from the race? What's your plan going into it?
Well, of course, we try to keep up the speed and that we stay in the front of all. And but let's see what's happening in the race.
Absolutely. Best of luck. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Right, we're going to cross over and go and speak to our other driver who's on the front row, and that will be Thomas Westorp. I am going to grab him out of conversation for a quick word. Well, on the front row for the first race, you've got Alex alongside you. How are you enjoying driving around this track so far?
Oh, I hope I have a good race,
yeah,
and hope we have a nice battle.
Do you think you might be able to take the lead?
Repeat, please.
Do you think you might be able to take the lead?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Best of luck. Thank you for speaking to us. Right, we will continue down the grid. Now, I want to go and speak to Ole Peterson. Now, he is in one of our Cup classes in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Now, if you've been with us for the Winter Series, you'll know that we have a bunch of different classes on this grid, GT3s, GT4s, and as Andy was saying, we also welcome Cup classes, and it is a really integral part of this grid, is that we are a welcoming philosophy in the GEDLICH paddock, and so we do have the Cup classes, and of course Ole is going to be in one of those Cup classes. Well, you're the only Lamborghini Super Trofeo on the grid, but plenty of cars to battle with. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. Most of all, we are battling with the GT3 class, and yeah, that's very fun.
And how much of a battle do you think is going to happen in this race? Do you think you're going to be able to take the fight to the two in front of you?
We'll try.
You'll certainly try. What's the racing round here going to be like? How comfortable are you feeling at this track?
I really like the track. Last I was here was in 2018, so long time ago, but I really like the track.
Awesome. Well, good luck out there. Thank you for speaking to us. Right, we will continue down the grid. And I did want to speak to Matt Rosner, but I don't believe he's around. I think he has gone and had a wander off, but that is no problem whatsoever. So we have got Matt Rosner as well in the Ferrari Challenge car alongside. Now, of course, as I say, we do have multiple classes. That is yet another one of our classes. I can see one of our other drivers, so I'm going to try and jump in and grab a word with Herman. But the thing is, they're all having their little chats, which is no worries, getting ready for the race. Herman, we'll just grab you for a quick chat. First race of the GT Summer Series. How are the nerves? You feeling excited?
Yeah, the nerves are playing up, but first race of the year, first race in the GTSS. Yes, I'm a little bit nervous.
And you've got plenty of experience in these Porsche cars, so that should maybe help you out a little bit, you think?
The problem is that won't help me with a start. That's where I'm always nervous.
Yeah.
You need that nervosity to concentrate.
Okay.
That is always, once we're around the first corner, then we're pretty okay.
You settle into it after that. Perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, best of luck for the race. We'll continue down. We will continue with our group. Now, we're actually going to have two groups of cars in this Heroes Arena. So the first one is our top 10, and then we will have the rest of the grid joining us. But I do want to come and point out a car, which is going to be the number 77, and this will be Igor Klyer in this car. Now, if you were with us during the Winter Series, you will know that this man here was in the title fight until the very end. Igor, we had to come and have a chat with you. Welcome back to the GEDLICH paddock. Of course, you were with us the whole way through Winter Series. You had a great season. You were in the title fight right until the end in Barcelona. What made you want to come and do this series?
You know, it's really great to race with you, so it's a huge pleasure, very nice. And looking forward to the Summer Series. I know it's new for you, but I think it's a great series, great atmosphere, and you as a GEDLICH, you are a great team, so my pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you back in our paddock as well. I mean, you've got some great cars around you, some great drivers around you, but also, having had that Winter Series experience, you must be feeling kind of confident, no?
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot, so it's nice. It's first time here, but it's beautiful track, located in beautiful place, so fast one, and yeah, I have a huge fun. So looking forward to be at the finish line. You know, we are not finishing for any great victory, but it's always better to be more on the front than more on the back. But the most important is be on the finish line.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck. Thank you for speaking to us, and great to have you back in our paddock. Now, this is our first group of cars. As I said, we are going to shortly be having our second group of cars join us in the Heroes Arena. But throughout the weekend, we've been using this Heroes Arena as an opportunity to chat with some of the faces from around our paddock, including talking about the safety car with Robin Selbach earlier.
We're in the Heroes Arena with Robin Selbach from GEDLICH Racing, and one of the most important vehicles in the paddock, Robin, our safety car, a magnificent car. Tell us a little bit about what we've got behind us here.
Yes, absolutely right. The safety car is one of the most important cars here. It's the most powerful car, not in terms of engine power, but obviously if the safety car goes out, all the cars have to follow the safety car, and the field will get together, and it promises exciting racing when the safety car leaves the track.
Yes, some drivers enjoy seeing the safety car, some don't want to see the safety car over the course of the weekend. Tell us a bit about the car then. How close to a sort of standard road-going car is this?
Yeah, it's a standard road car, just with the lights on the top of the car. And as you say, a lot of drivers sometimes love the safety car and sometimes they hate it, because if you're in the lead on the track, you never want a safety car. But if you're second with a gap of 5 or 10 seconds, you're really happy if you get a safety car and you come close to the leading car.
One thing that I think people don't always realise about a safety car is that it looks slow on the track, but actually it has to go at a certain speed, otherwise it's too slow for the racing cars, and that means the person driving it needs to be a very capable driver, and the car needs to be capable of some serious performance.
Yes, it's very important to have an experienced safety car driver, because for this road car and the road tires, he need to do very fast laps, because the GT3 race cars behind him, they can't drive that slow. So it's important that the safety car slows the cars down, but at a speed which is already fast for a road car.
Obviously, we only see the safety car if there's an incident on circuit, and only if race control have decided that it needs to be out there. Talk to us a little bit about the process of how the safety car driver knows when to leave the pit lane, how to pick up the leader. It's quite complicated, isn't it?
It's not that complicated. During the race, the safety car is waiting at the end of the pit lane, and if something happens on track due to an accident or changing weather, and the race direction decides to deploy the safety car, he goes on track and waits for the leader, and then as soon as he can see the leader, he turns on the lights, and then he leads the field, makes slow at the zone where is the accident or something else, and as soon as the situation is clear, maybe the car which had an accident is removed, then he will turn off the lights, which is something which makes all the drivers the heart pumps up. Yeah. And then he enters the pit lane and the drivers can do the restart.
Now, you mentioned the lights. We can go into the safety car, I think,
Yes,
and
of
show you
course.
exactly how this works, Robin. Why don't you jump in? Oh, it was locked. And show us exactly how the light procedure works. What does the safety car driver have to do when they're scrambled out on track?
Yes, so there are two persons in the safety car, the driver and the second guy with the radio. And if race direction decides to deploy the safety car, as said, he goes out on track, wait for the leader, and then with this button he can turn on the lights, which you can see on the roof now.
And the lights flashing. There's also a green light, I believe, at the back. What does the green light mean, Robin?
Yes, the green light is only in the back. This is if there are some overlapped cars which are in front of the leader and the safety car wants them to overtake, then they can turn on the green light so the car behind knows I am allowed to overtake the safety car and get back at the back of the field.
Fascinating stuff. Well, we hope we don't see a lot of the safety car, but if we do, we know we've got a very capable machine at our disposal for the GT Summer Series.
Give me this life so sweet. 5,000 Tennessee skies. Rebel hearts beating in the summer night's disguise. Whispers in the dark. Behold our story. It's the Junebug beat. That Junebug beat.
Well, with the first round of the GT Summer Series happening this weekend, it marks a new challenge for the team at GEDLICH Racing. But of course, it is not an entirely new adventure because they build on the success of the Winter Series. And I have GEDLICH Racing's Head of Operations, Stefan Lenner, alongside me. And Stefan is certainly not a new face to us here in the GEDLICH Racing paddocks, of course, from the Winter Series. Stefan, I mean, we're in gloriously sunny Hockenheim. How excited are you to be back and also to get this new adventure started?
Obviously, I'm very excited. We've been working on this now for almost a year, and I am very excited together with my colleagues that we can finally start off the season.
And there's a lot of new things. I mean, this is a new challenge for the team. A lot of work has gone into it behind the scenes. One of the new things, of course, being that we're at new tracks. I know you will have worked at some of these tracks with your race tests, but we are going to entirely new tracks for the racing series, which is going to be really exciting.
Of course. We know a lot of the tracks, or actually we know all of the tracks from our tests. Still, organizing a race compared to organizing a test is a whole other level. So it will be quite a challenge, and I'm looking forward to it.
And what else is new about this series compared to the Winter Series? I'm sure a lot of our viewers this weekend will know us from the Winter Series. We'll be used to seeing that. I mean, of course, while we're racing in the summer, we've got sunshine, which is wonderful. But what else is new?
So our basic format is very similar, but there are differences. One of our new inventions, I'd like to call it, is that we now have the driver's mentor with us, Frank Bieler. He's a very experienced driver, a lot of success in his career, obviously, and he's here to help and to guide our the new drivers, the gentleman drivers, the amateurs in their journey, to give them tips and tricks how to handle certain situations. That is one new thing, and then obviously we are standing in the other new thing, which is our Heroes Arena, to present all our drivers. Yeah, our heroes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy area of the paddock this weekend. The Heroes Arena that we're stood in right now might not look so busy right now, but it will fill up with our drivers later on in the day. Okay, but some of the things are similar to the Winter Series because, of course, you build on the foundations that you made in the Winter Series, and what works you keep doing. The format is the same as well, isn't it?
The format is pretty similar, yes. So we start before the race weekend to do some tests. We have the free practice, the qualifying sessions, the two, and then the main format is, of course, our 2 sprint races of 30 minutes and 1 endurance race, pit stop race of 50 minutes. And that is a format that in the past worked quite well for us. A lot of teams and drivers have had some good feedback on that, so we kept it for summer.
And equally, I mean, one of the things that's at the heart of the project is the welcoming philosophy of this paddock, you know, welcoming drivers of all abilities and all experience levels too.
Of course, yes. So same as in winter, we have different driver levels with us, we have different teams with us, and we like to keep that, to be here together, to help each other. Then of course on racetrack it will be different, there will be competition, but nevertheless it's a welcoming paddock.
It certainly is. And final question then, what are you expecting this weekend? What are you hoping to see this weekend?
Well, first of all, I hope to see more of the sunshine and have some races in sunshine, and of course nice fights and hard fights on the racetrack.
Always. Well, thank you, Stefan, for joining us. It's always great to have a chat with you, and we will see what this weekend has in store.
Give me this life so sweet. 5,000 Tennessee skies. Rebel hearts beating in the summer night's disguise. Whispers in the dark. Behold our story. It's the Junebug beat. That Junebug beat.
Well, welcome back to the Heroes Arena. It is perfectly warm. The sun has gone behind the clouds, but it is perfectly warm here at Hockenheim, and we are warming up, ready for our race as well, coming up shortly. But we've got the second group of cars in the Heroes Arena, and I've also got Marcus Gedlich alongside me, who I'm sure you all know if you have been with us over the Winter Series. Well, Marcus, great to see you. A brand new adventure. I mean, how excited are you for this first race?
Very excited. I mean, as a promoter, if you think you come from the Winter Series where everything is run in and the organization is run smoothly, and come here to the Summer Series and do it plug and play, you're totally wrong. Because everybody has to set up himself for his new position. We're dealing with different people, dealing with different tracks, so everything is basically new for us. So we are very excited, but also happy at the same time.
And we're racing in Germany, which is fantastic as well. I mean, the commentators and I were saying we've not been to some of these tracks before, and we've got some great tracks on the calendar too, which keeps things exciting.
Absolutely, and so many more coming. I mean, next halt is going to be Oschersleben, which is very exciting. I still remember when it opened because I was the first winner there back in time. So I have good memories, but unfortunately I will not be there. But then things like Spa-Francorchamps coming and Nürburgring and so on. So it will be a great year.
Yeah, we're really excited for the season ahead. I mean, just how proud are you of your team as well? This is a small team that work behind the scenes, but to pull this all together after what has been a very busy winter as well is really quite impressive.
Yeah, very proud, because we haven't had a lot of time between the end of winter and the start of the Summer Series. It was only like 4 weeks, and we had to do things at the same time, finalizing the organization of the Winter Series, starting the Summer Series, setting everything up. Also, we onboarded two new guys that had to get into everything. So it was not easy, but I'm very happy to have such a good team, because without this, it would not be possible, of course.
Absolutely, and we're going to see the race very, very shortly. We'll let you go off and enjoy it. Thank you, as always, for speaking to us, Marcus, and we will continue and go and speak to some of our drivers. Now, we've got Johnny Pedersen, who's waiting to have a chat with me. First of all, how are you? Welcome to our series.
Very good. I'm very excited to be here today, and I hope we are going to have some points and some podium with a little bit of luck. We have not been so fast in the qualifying, but we hope the best and a good weather still.
Well, what do you expect the race to be like? Do you think you're going to be in some tough battles out there today?
I don't know. We have some problems with the car, so I hope we are going to be in top 6 or top 7. But I think we are going to have some battles.
What sort of problems are you struggling with?
I have some problems with the steering and the braking at the back. So I have some accident behind the corner down in turn 4, a little turnaround. But I hope it's going to be better now.
We hope so too. No more accidents today,
No,
we hope.
Absolutely no.
Enjoy the race.
Yeah,
thank you for speaking to us. Right, I'm going to continue back because I want to come and speak to the driver of the number 30 car, and that is going to be Alex Stanzer. Now, they are racing for W&S Motorsport, who are, well, a staple of our Winter Series, really, because you will know this team very, very well as well. Alex, great to have you in our series. Welcome. I mean, we're so used to seeing this team. You've also been with us briefly in the Winter Series before. Why did you want to come and do this Summer Series this weekend?
What do you know?
How excited are you to be here?
I'm happy to be here, to learn, to drive, to work with the team for better driving and better that I learn the car better, and that the normal we have to do with the team to work, that the processes are going better and better, and that's why we're here.
So you're learning a lot with each session, I guess.
Yes.
And so around this Hockenheim track now, how comfortable are you feeling? Do you like this track?
Yes, I like it. Hockenheim is a very good track.
Well, we're excited to see you race out there. We'll let you go because I know you need to prepare, but thank you so much for speaking to us. Right, we are going to continue and speak to Daniel Reiter as well, who is in a chat with his team, but if I can pull him away and grab a chat with you. Well, welcome to our series. How excited are you for this first race?
We are very excited to start from the third position in GT4 class, and let's see how far we can go.
How far up the grid do you think you'll be able to get around here?
So in total there are, I don't know how many GT4 cars, but let's say in our class our goal is to win. So let's see what we can do.
Okay. Best of luck. Thank you for speaking to us. Right, we will continue because I want to also point out the number 44. Now the driver's not here; he's just doing his final preparations. But this car will be driven by Franz Binder, and he has taken quite some time out of racing, but he is back in racing and back behind the wheel, and it's quite exciting to be able to welcome him to the grid. That name, of course. Well, he raced in F3 Germany in the late 80s and early 90s, and his son also a 2021 Asian Le Mans LMP2 champion. So great to welcome him to our grid and that name to our grid. There's going to be plenty of exciting stories. I have a feeling that Adam Weller is going to enjoy this race very much, but this is our second group of cars to complete our grid here in Hockenheim. And earlier we put some of our drivers to the test with a drawing challenge. Let's take a look now.
Hello and welcome back to the Heroes Arena, and here we've got the Porsche Draw Challenge Face-Off GT4 Challenge. We haven't named it, as you can tell, but if you could all introduce yourselves initially, who you are and what team you're racing for.
I'm Gökay Kutlu. I'm racing in the GT4 for W&S Motorsport, and yes, it's my first weekend race. The first time I was on Thursday in the car, so let's see how it will go.
Hello, my name is Alexander Danzer, and I also drive for the same team as Gökay into the W&S Motorsport, and this is my third time in the car ever in the GT4.
Oh, wow, okay. And you?
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm racing for my own racing team, Reiter Racing. I'm here with my team. Usually we do in Porsche Sports Cup Germany, and looking forward to take part on the GTSS Summer Series.
Fantastic. And obviously this is something slightly different that you don't normally do on a race weekend. Are any of you artists at all?
I don't think so, no.
No.
No?
Definitely not.
Perfect. Okay, well, here's a pen. You're up first. You've got to draw Hockenheim and make sure you can't see anything. So I'll put that down for you. So yeah, make sure you can't see anything. Yeah, exactly. So turn around. We'll go over here. Right. Yeah, so draw the track and we will have a quick chat about it. So it's your team, mate. You can talk.
Yeah, I think maybe he knows the track better than me, but I think it looks like a little bit crazy. What do you think?
I'll be honest, this first part of it doesn't look like it's from Germany. It looks like almost an Alton Park loop a little bit. What about you, Alex?
Where is he? We are in Hockenheim, but where is he?
I think I'm done. You think you're done? Okay. Do you want to just lift your cap up and have a quick look?
Yes. It's difficult without seeing it. So, but I know the track good, I think.
What do you rate it out of 10?
What?
Rate it out of 10.
I don't understand it.
Rate the quality out of 10.
The quality,
yeah.
I think it's not very good.
Not very good.
No.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
4.
Perfect. Okay, so we've got 3 and 4. Perfect. Yeah. All right. So where's the pen? Is it? Oh, it's down here. Lovely. All right. Well, you're up next. So you've got 3 or 4 to beat. I'm going to try and lift this over in one go. Didn't work. Okay. Give me a second. There you go. That worked. Right. So when you're ready, off you go.
Okay.
Just talk.
Okay. This looks good. Looks good. Yeah. This is a real artist.
Yeah. I don't know what he's trying to draw at the moment though, because that doesn't look exactly like Hockenheim.
I heard there was an older version of Hockenheim. Maybe this is the other one.
It looks like, yeah, maybe. Maybe this is through
maybe
the woods.
The historic one.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
That.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
It look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open your eyes.
How much you want for that?
Oh, I think it's not so stupid.
It almost looks a little bit like a squid.
Yeah. Yes, but I think it's fine for that. I'm not an artist. That's okay for me. So.
Okay, and what do you rate it out of 10?
I give it a 6.
A 6 out of 10?
the same.
Six. Oh, that's better. Much better than your effort. Okay, perfect.
I tried to do a 7.
Right, I'm going to try and do this a bit more gracefully than the last one. Hey, much better. There we go. Right, so you're up. So there is your pen. Put your cap down over your face so you can't see. There we go. Right, let's have a chat. What do you reckon? What's your predictions? What's he going to get? Strong start, I think.
I don't know what he's doing, but
well, maybe not strong start.
Wait a little bit.
Oh, he's gone off the page now. Okay, never mind.
What are the track limits?
How are the track limits this weekend?
I can't see them because they're not on the on the table.
Oh, okay. Okay. There we go, signed it as well. Perfect, there we go. Right, so we'll come in a second, right. So we've got 3. So you had rated a 4 or a 3. You got rated a 6. What do we rate his one?
This is a 3.
You're rating it as a 3, yeah?
I'd like to say 2.
I'd like to represent 2. Okay, how about you?
1.
1.
2.
2, okay, so very, very strong showing from all of you. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, and I hope your driving's a bit better than your drawing.
Yes,
yeah.
I hope so too, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the cars are just rolling out to the pre-grid now, and they will be going on that track that you saw some questionable drawing of by the drivers. But it wasn't just the drivers that we put to the test. I managed to escape it. I did not have to draw the track, but Adam Weller and Annie McEwen did in fact have to draw the track, and let's hope their commentary is better than their drawing skills.
Right, back in the Heroes Arena, we've got the Draw the Track challenge once again, but we've got this specimen, Andy, not Andy, sorry, I didn't mean to say that, I meant Adam.
Yes.
I get the two confused. Andy's over there behind the camera. Yeah, we've got Adam here with us, and Adam, you reckon you're going to do a lot better than the 3s, 4s and the 6 that the drivers got?
I was very disappointed in all of them.
Yes.
However, while you've been introing me, I've just remembered how dyspraxic I am,
yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I went to a special needs school for 4 years, so we'll see how this goes.
I just want to point out, though, he stormed over here and he went, right, give me that pen, I want to have a go. So you've made a point now, get that pen on the whiteboard and have a go.
Right, so main straight we'll do here. There's a little kink at turn 1.
You're also not drawing it blindfolded, you've got your eyes open.
Did they blindfold?
Yes.
Their eyes were shut?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realise that bit. Right, reload me.
Okay, come on then.
Oh, excellent. Okay, my eyes are shut. I didn't hear that bit.
Right.
Now it's going to be bad. Sadly, I thought they had the visual aid.
No.
Okay. My eyes are shut. We can confirm.
Hold on, give me a second.
Actually,
Amelia,
I'll tell you what.
can I borrow your cap?
Glasses
Thank
off.
you.
My glasses are off.
I've got a cap.
I already can't see.
There you go.
And now I double can't see. It's not big enough for my head.
There you go. That'll do.
Fabulous.
Right.
Okay.
Lovely. Here we go.
Oh, I didn't know this was part of it. Oh no. Okay. Main straight. Little kink turn 1 that then opens out. Goes to about here. Then there's this. Goes out like that. I'm going to go to here. Hairpin.
This is looking much better than the last ones.
The Mercedes Arena section goes thus.
Yeah.
And opens out like that. I completely lost perspective of where I am, but I'm going to turn here.
Yeah.
Down to the arena. Kind of open-ish hairpin to there. Little straight line
I hate
bit.
to say it, but this is not looking too bad.
Last 2 corners like that. And that, and then maybe the straight goes there.
I'll tell you what, that's not bad.
Okay,
that's
apart
all
from
right.
the lack of perspective down there.
If you put your glasses on again so you can see.
Rain Man.
Put your glasses on. I tell you what, fair play, because that is not half bad.
It was fine until I underestimated that straight.
Yeah, I think to be honest, you may have got a little bit too long down here towards the hairpin.
No, that's about perspective size right.
I think
it's
that
just
looks a bit too long.
This straight is longer. That's the issue, and so is that one slightly.
Yeah,
that's
okay, I see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad though.
I think I
Well
proved
done.
something of a point.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we've got Andy behind the camera. Andy!
Oh, wow, okay.
Andy, come
Andy.
here.
We keep racking them up.
There, come on. Go away.
Hey.
Right.
That was my blindfolded
That's
effort,
not bad. No.
apart from the straight issue.
Oh, no, I can't reach.
Are you
There we
saying
go.
that one of them made a nearly complete circuit? Nearly complete circuit while blindfolded?
Yes.
Jeez, okay. See ya.
Did you not listen? Right, so which side of the board do you want to be on? This side?
I
or
guess I'm
that
right-handed.
side? Okay, I'm going to go round the board then.
I don't mind embarrassing myself, thank goodness.
Fantastic, that's why we got you here. Right. Where's the board? Come this way. Right. There's the board. Okay. Right. Right. Just stand over to the side for me so the cameras can actually see your mess up. Right. That's the edge of the board there. Right.
Right. Okay. Ready?
Go. Yeah. Go. Into turn 1. Strong start. He's done a right-hander. That might be a little bit too tight of a right-hander, I think. But there we go. Into turn 2. Through the left down towards the hairpin. So far not too bad. Now this is where everyone messes up. So he's gone for the right, gone for the left. Here we go, now to the stadium section. You can talk, you know.
Sorry, yeah, I've completely forgotten how to speak, which is concerning since I'm a commentator. This is requiring a lot of my brain power.
Most things do.
Thank you, Kieran.
You're welcome.
And then...
That's not bad. That's not bad. Come in here.
Oh, I'll take that. What do I win?
It's closer to an actual circuit, annoyingly. The corner shapes are a bit lacking,
Well,
but I think you might give it to him.
Here, yeah, but I'm quite proud of this.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. Like, if you compare yours and Adam's together, I think you may have won that.
What do I win?
Nothing. At all. Well, there we go then. That's the Draw the Track challenge.
Britain's Got Talent.
Exactly, yeah. Blindfolded drawing Hockenheim challenge, and he's stood behind the camera because he's sulking now.
Excellent. Let's see if we can get him back for the race.
Yeah, let's hope he's a better commentator.
No comment.
All right, we'll see you back here very shortly.
Give me this life so sweet. 5 times under Tennessee sky. Rebel hearts beating in summer nights disguise. Whispers in the dark. Behold our story. It's the Junebug beat. That Junebug beat.
Well then, it's time. We've had the preamble, we've seen the cars up close in the Heroes Arena, and in a matter of moments the cars will be released onto the grid for the inaugural race in the GT Summer Series. The current race on the circuit has about a dozen minutes left, so I think we are going to have a little bit of time before these cars are released, about 15 minutes or so before the cars are rolling on the circuit. But as we've seen, a great variety of cars down there, some GT3s up at the sharp end with some Cup single make car interlopers, then we've got the GT4s further down the field. Of course, we've had a few cars unfortunately dropping from the entry over the last couple of days. There were some issues with Thilo Goss's BWT Muka Motorsport Aston Martin V8 Vantage, which is the first generation car that we're so familiar with the club class of the GT4 Winter Series. They unfortunately didn't quite feel like the car was behaving itself yesterday, decided not to take any risks, and then during the qualifying session on the outlap of qualifying, Przemysław Biankowski's PTT racing team Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo sprung a leak. It was a fluid of some sort, may have been oil, may have been something else, but we went down to the garage afterwards and they confirmed that unfortunately the engine no longer playing ball. Unfortunately, the end of their weekend before the first race even started, but we've still got a hugely strong grid for this, the inaugural GT Summer Series race here at the iconic Hockenheimring, a circuit steeped in history in motorsport. Of course, Nürburgring slightly predates it, being a 1920s opening facility, but since 1932 this track has been one of the venues in German motorsport, one of the temples of speed, particularly in its former configuration in the 20th century until 2001. But this new configuration of the circuit certainly promotes exciting racing, outbraking into the hairpin and at turn 2 as well. Lots of interesting sharp apexes, and Andy, I think that with the variety of cars up at the front and the closeness of some of the cars up in the front in quali, I think we're in for a very exciting first race in the GT Summer Series.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. Qualifying couldn't really have been a lot closer, could it, with Alexander Croker and Thomas Verstappen starting on the front row, only a hundredth of a second between those two cars qualifying earlier on today. Very, very evenly matched indeed, but then you've got some of the Cup class cars behind, which we know tend to perform well in a straight line. They're likely to mix it with the GT3 class cars in the early stages, that multi-class racing. Always something that fascinates me, so really looking forward to seeing how this first race plays out. Actually, we're using the same format as we do for the winter series, so one sprint race today, another 30-minute sprint race tomorrow morning, and then the longer pit stop race at the end of Sunday, so we get a little bit of everything, sprint and sort of mini endurance racing with pit stops. And yeah, we've got an interesting grid of drivers of varying degrees of experience, all about to head out there onto a track that, as you said, does tend to produce good racing. Any circuit that's got long straights into big braking zones and tight corners usually get plenty of passing, and that is the Hockenheimring.
Absolutely right, and obviously we're seeing there some of the racing that's going on the circuit at the moment. That's from the Super 60s category, which is 60s touring cars and sports cars, and that's something that's really exciting as well. It's obviously not standard practice for English-speaking fans to maybe go to club and national level events in Germany or in other European nations, but it's something I heartily suggest because there are so many exciting categories out there that simply don't have the English language coverage, don't have the means necessarily to gain an international audience, but if you do come along to a GT Summer Series event this year, you will see some of the best of German motorsport, and German motorsport, such a bountiful land, as it were, with particularly production car racing has always been hugely popular here all through the decades, and yeah, some incredible support categories that we'll have to the GT Summer Series as the season wears on. And GT racing, of course, quite well catered for already in Germany, but the GT Summer Series will certainly find its own place in this particular market. There's never really been a period of time in Germany where there's been too much GT racing for the demographic, for the audience, for the customer base. Even in the 80s and the early 90s, where effectively GT racing was off the international stage completely. Group C dominated Le Mans. There were maybe 3 or 4 cars built to IMSA regulations that counted as GTs at the back of the order. Even during that time, that kind of dull period before Stefan Rattel relaunched GT racing with BPR along with Freddie Bart and co, Philip Peter as well. It was No, Patrick Peter, sorry. Philip Peter's an Austrian racing driver. But when they relaunched GT racing in '94, yes, of course, it sprung into life, and that's what we've known now for the last 30 years. But even in the early 90s, the late 80s, GT racing in Germany was a huge deal. It's persisted all throughout the decades, and I'm sure the GT Summer Series and these wonderful cars, these wonderful drivers that we have there on the grid will be catering to our every need when it comes to racing action throughout this season.
Absolutely so. It's been I've thoroughly enjoyed myself this weekend, taking in all that German club level motorsport has to offer, and for the Summer Series to have this opportunity to bring its own sort of special brand to the events is fantastic. And of course, who can forget the location that we're at, the modern day Hockenheimring, which is getting on for 25 years old now, which is a terrifying thought. Of course, coming after the modifications that were made early 2000s, when the old circuit that blasted the cars off into the forests, they stopped using that and shortened the circuit considerably. It's still a circuit that's got great character. The ghosts of the original circuit, though, still very much remain. You can walk parts of it, a lot of it now very much overgrown, but little reminder of the incredible amount of history that this place has to offer.
Yeah, so we're looking actually from the Spitzkir hairpin at the moment, which of course is the main pinch point of the current layout, and this is what was the back straight working its way from the far edge of the forest at Östkurve down, and then effectively what you're looking at on the far right hand right-hand side of screen is where it would turn in then for the chicane on the way down to the stadium section, which of course remains as was in the current day. I walked this actually with my good friend and DTM commentator Brian Oliver, and I was speculating whether that strip of tarmac that we see on screen is the tarmac or whether it was a repave because they did some deforesting around here about 20 years ago. And I made an incredibly weird noise, a very excited noise, when I saw a timing loop in the tarmac and realised it is the tarmac. This is where the World Superbikes and F1 and everything did battle. That's just the kind of guy I am, unfortunately. For better or worse, I'm always going to get excited by remnants of the past. We've got some remnants of the past on the circuit at the moment, and an interesting mix actually in terms of specifications of car at the front of that order as well, because we've got the 991.2 GT3R Porsche on the circuit. That of course is Hermann Speck's DB Motorsport number 7 car, and that is now, well, quite a few years past its tenure as the present day Porsche. 2022 was the last year that the 91.2 was really the torchbearer, and then from 2023 onwards they took the 992 out in GT3 racing, but still an incredibly capable car, a very well sorted chassis on that 991.2 as well. And Hermann Speck has kind of said to me, you know, it's at a level, this car, where yes, at the moment with our BOP system it is almost unrestricted, quite frankly, in its form, because the AM class drivers in this series do have a bit of leeway in regard to balance of performance, so they've got a little bit more performance than a lineup with a considered pro driver. But he said, you know, it's such a good car, it's so well sorted, it served me so well. Until there's quite a seismic leap forward, don't really see the point in making the upgrade. We just saw there Alex Croker in the number 6 car. That is the SP Racing by Cologne entry, and SP actually the initials of Pierre Lemmers, the kind of main driver. Croker is the driver coach in that machine, but he's Pierre Lemmers is the main driver. The SP is his girlfriend, Sandra, who's stood alongside him in the background of that shot we saw a couple of minutes ago. And Sandra is a racing driver in her own right, actually. She races a GT4 Audi in various events in Germany, and we've already been discussing the fact that car is more than eligible to come and play in the GT Summer Series, and hopefully we get to see Sandra come out and do some racing as well, because she's quite a handy competitor in her own right. Keeping a look here at Thomas Vestarp, one of several drivers on this grid with a little bit of history predating this GT tenure. In the early 2000s he did Formula Fords and then Formula Renaults as well, and in more recent times he's been a bit of a nuisance on the GT racing scene, Andy.
Yeah, great to have him here and to learn about drivers that certainly I was not fully aware of, really at all aware of, in fact, in many cases, before this event, and be able to give them the live coverage as well and get them in the spotlight. Car off the jacks there, so they are preparing to release the cars through to the grid, with the checkered flag having fallen on our Super 60s race, and the fairly sizable crowd that we've got here actually at the Hockenheimring will look forward now to the most modern machinery that they'll see racing this weekend, at an event which is largely focused around classic and historic racing cars. Bringing the more modern day GT cars onto the circuit, I'm sure, has attracted a lot of positive attention. This grandstand in particular has had a good smattering of people in it all day long, many of them gathering at the back to try and stay out of the hottest of the sun. It's been very Summer Series-esque weather, hasn't it? A fitting set of weather conditions that we've had this opening weekend for our first ever Summer Series race event with GEDLICH Racing. But a little bit of cloud cover now creeping over. That will just dip those track temperatures down. Perhaps the coolest temperatures that the cars will have run in for the duration of the weekend. But throw a little bit of a spanner in the works for the teams who have maybe set the cars up around the bright sunshine, slightly warmer conditions, as the temperature now starts to dip back perhaps into the high teens.
Yes, indeed. The Priestersstadt Stuttgart event, steeped in history, has been a decades-long fixture here in at the Hockenheimring, and yeah, it's always had quite an interesting variety. They do typically try and get kind of like a modern headliner into the program, and it's certainly a great honour to be part of this event for the opening event of the GT Summer Series. For a majority of the season, we'll be partnering and joining in with the ADAC Racing Weekends, which are always a smorgasbord of different categories, be that historic touring cars, GT racing, et al, et al. And the GT Summer Series will add some fabulous flavours to that as well. Meanwhile, Izzy Browning is at the pre-grid. We saw the cars getting dropped off their jacks, engines potentially getting fired up. Let's have a look at what's going on down there.
Well, we have come down to the pre-grid. We have got the best view in the house of all of these cars about to head out to the grid. We are so close to the start of our very first GT Summer Series race here in Hockenheim. The marshal behind us just shown the 3-minute board, which means we are getting so close to these cars heading out on track. And it is quite the field that we have here. I'm sure it's going to provide us some exciting racing, but we will just get out the way very, very quickly, get out the way of the truck that's trying to get past us and try not to get run over. But from the real world racing that we're going to see on the track to some sim racing, Andy had a chat earlier with a rising star in the sim racing world.
We've got a lot of new faces in the GEDLICH Racing paddock this weekend, and a couple eyeing up racing with us in the future. Next to me is Tristan Geschwendner, who is not racing this weekend, but Tristan, I believe we will be seeing you on track this year, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to start the summer series in Oschersleben as soon as I turn 16, yeah.
Yes, 15 years old, Tristan, at the moment, and all of your racing experience so far, I believe, has been on the simulator.
Yes, apart from track days, obviously, to prepare for real-life driving, but apart from track days, all the racing's been on the simulator, exactly.
Now, I do a bit of sim racing, and I like to think that I'm quite good. How difficult is it to make that transition from the sim onto the real track? Even on a track day, it's so different.
I mean, yeah, it's completely different because you need a lot more feeling in every part of your body, really, to feel the car. But essentially, you're doing the same thing. You're looking where to look, and you know where to brake, you know how to use your throttle. If you know how to do all that in the sim well, you can usually translate that into the real world very well. And yeah, of course, you need a lot more awareness because you don't have a second try.
Yes.
And it costs a lot more money. So that's just really the biggest difference for me when I got into the real car, is the amount of size differences and just sitting in a real car. It's just different because you can't see a lot. You don't have warning systems. You don't have I don't know what you have in sim. Radar, for example. You don't have all that. You have to see with your eyes, and in the real life, you're, in my opinion, a lot more concentrated. Of course, you have to be concentrated in the sim, but you're a lot more concentrated. I mean, it's your life. You don't want to throw it away. So obviously, you have to be a lot concentrated and not get distracted by anything, and at the same time, still very aware the other cars. Every turn, you have to be really careful. A small mistake can really impact the race.
Yeah.
The turn can just go wrong very quickly. And yeah.
That being said, though, you're looking forward to the challenge, hopefully, of racing with us from Oschersleben on, I believe. You're just taking a look around the paddock this weekend at Hockenheim. What do you think of it so far?
I think it's pretty cool. I'm very excited to race with the Summer Series in the future and in the future races. I mean, my first race, of course, I'm very excited. I assume it's going to be pretty difficult. The race cars are all next to me. It's going to be difficult, of course. The awareness you have to race side by side with, I don't know how many cars, maybe 5, 6, 7 at a time.
Yeah.
You just have to be very aware, but I'm really excited.
Why GEDLICH Racing? Why Summer Series? You would have had, I'm sure, other options of where to go racing, but I know you have a very close partnership with GEDLICH Racing, is that right?
Yeah, we chose GEDLICH because we just found that they have the best support for me, that they offer a lot of track days, which is also good to prepare for races and to prepare in between races to stay up to speed. And yeah, we just found that they have, in my opinion, the best support.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'm sure they'll be glad to hear that. Tristan, thank you for having a chat with us. And we're really looking forward to having Tristan out on track for our next round of GT Summer Series at Oschersleben.
Gimme, this life so sweet.
Cars out on the circuit then. We are moments away from going racing in the GT Summer Series. This is the formation lap. The cars will be released and then they will go racing. And as we can see there on the queue behind the safety car, it is going to be Alexander Kroker in the number 6 car that starts on pole position. Thomas Vestup alongside in the number 45, an all Audi GT3 row number 1. Ole Peterson in the Super Trofeo spec Lamborghini Huracan lines up 3rd. Watch him. I think he could be interesting. In 4th position, Hermann Speck in the Porsche 991.2 GT3R. Matt Rosner in 5th place in the Challenge Ferrari, the 296. That is always quick in a straight line. Run to the hairpin on the first lap, just watch. Reinbold in 6th place, Gregor Drassel in 7th in a distinctive pink Lamborghini. Mike Janza, Igor Klyer, Urs Frick bringing us down to 10th place. And then the first of the GT4s in 11th, Tobias Erdmann. A total of 16 cars set to take the start of this race. We are missing one, I think, on row number 4. No, we're not. Actually, they were just slightly out of sync. We are about to go racing then in the GT Summer Series. GEDLICH Racing has raced in the winter all through the 2020s. Gregor Drassel into the pits. He's had clutch issues in qualifying. It doesn't look like they fixed them, but welcome to a new series. Welcome to a new adventure for GEDLICH Racing. The GT Summer Series is go in 2026, and it will be Alex Kroker that leads in the early stages, followed by the number 45 of Thomas Vestup in 2nd position. In 3rd place is still Ole Peterson. He's kept himself ahead of Hermann Speck. Peterson, will he get a good run out of the corner? Could he maybe close up to the Audis on the long straight? They do have slightly more power than we're used to under standard GT3 BOP, because those 2 cars in the top 2 are in the GT3 AM class.
Indeed, so there were your GT4 AM leaders, by the way. Tobias Erdmann hanging on in the Audi, but he has got the WNS Motorsport Porsche of Alexander Danza not far behind him. Down to the hairpin for the first time, moved for 3rd position, and that was Hermann Speck, wasn't it, coming through into 3rd, nearly losing it on the curb on corner exit, but a good move made to get into a podium place.
Yeah, that was a really solid move there, and following him through into 4th place, Matt Rosner in the Gabs Competizione car. He has Maurizio Cerasoli in his ears as his driver coach. The field coming through the opening corners for the first time, and wide there was Matt Rosner. And Ole Peterson making contact there with Marco Reinbold. Reinbold, the first of the Cup 2 cars, the Porsche 992 GT3 Cup machines, and he's moving up the overall order, but he did it with a bit of a tag there with Ole Peterson. Peterson is in his first ever weekend in the Super Trofeo spec Lamborghini Huracan, so he's learning the car, and more importantly, he's not wanting to do anything too hasty to the car, too much damage to the car in his first weekend. A little bit of contact there, nothing major, but a little bit of a scare. We have some gravel being kicked up there in the back of frame as well.
Yeah, that's not uncommon, isn't it, heading into the stadium section. That right-hander does catch people out occasionally. Hopefully whoever kicked up the dirt was able to continue on their way. Peterson still weaving around there. I don't think he's got a lot of confidence in the car on cold tyres. He was very early on the brakes into the hairpin on lap 1. Nailed the exit of turn 1 though. Dives to the inside now of Marco Reinbold's Porsche and does move through. Igor Klyer, meanwhile, loses 2nd place here temporarily, at least in Cup 2, to Mike Janza. But Mike, a bit too late on the brakes, cuts back and gets the position on corner exit. That's the 2nd position in class. Leading 3 cars are all GT3 AMs. There they are at the top of screen. The lone Cup 1 Ferrari of Matt Rosner is next in 4th, and this then, the battle for 5th, continuing to rage on as Peterson is still defending there from Reinbold into the hairpin.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Peterson fighting away. It's great to see this Cup 2 battle unfolding. Igor Klyer always finds himself in battles. That was in the Winter Series. That's now again the case in the Summer Series. Mike Jasner to his inside line. Mike, who is only in his third ever weekend of racing, and he's now up to second place in the Cup 2 class. No, he isn't. Igor Klyer comes through, and they're actually allowing the GT4 leader to get into it in amongst all of this. That Audi R8 is flying in the hands of Tobias Erdmann, who's been driving this car for several years. There's a lot of experience at the wheel, and he's won championships in this car as well, and he's currently looking to win some scalps in cars that frankly should be a couple of seconds a lap quicker.
Well, the way Igor Klyer and Mike Janser are dicing here, there's a good chance, I think, that Tobias could pick up a few more positions in the overall running order. There was almost a breath of contact between them as they came out of the arena section, and now down into the final few corners. They're once again nose to tail. Much tighter line there for Janser. That might help him on corner entry, but on corner exit, Igor Klyer looks a little bit stronger. They flash past the pits once again, and the leaders turn into the first corner. Lots of curb again taken by Janser, and this time he does nail the exit. Is he going to go for another lunge into turn 2? He tried this a lap ago, and I think Mike Janser is going to commit to the manoeuvre. Igor Klyer will look for the switchback again, but this time I think Mike nailed his braking point and does make the move stick.
Yeah, that was good driving from Janser, and that will move him up to second in class. Perhaps not definitively, I wouldn't go that far, but certainly gives him at least a few corners to try and now build an advantage, although Igor Klyer has the advantage of the slipstream. Of course, Klyer managed to secure himself the championship in the Cup 2 class of the GT Winter Series, so less than a month later, and he's here back in Cup 2, kicking up some sparks on the sausage curb there. He is determined not to let go of Mike Janser.
Yes, but that's maybe not the best way to go about reclaiming this second position. The car crunching over the exit curb does not slow Igor down, though. These two cars clearly very evenly matched. These two drivers evenly matched, and as you've alluded to, Igor Klyer not normally the kind of driver to back down from a scrap, is he? So expect this to rumble on. In GT3 AM, Alexander Croker led at the end of the previous lap by 2.6 seconds. So he's now starting to assert some dominance at the sharp end of the field. This one of the better battles in the order. There's a decent little scrap going on for second in GT4 AM still between Alexander Danza and Daniel Reiter in the Porsche 718 Porsche Cayman nose to tail at the beginning of the lap. This Cup 2 battle, though, just starting to calm down.
Yeah, just a little bit of stability there. Now, there are a couple of cars, if you've looked at the entry list, that are listed under Cup X, and you might wonder, why is that? There's a Porsche 992 GT3 Cup that's running in Cup X rather than Cup 2. There's a Lamborghini Super Trofeo that's running in Cup X rather than Cup 4. Now, the reason for that is licensing and regulations, because in Germany, if you're running under a national license, you can drive a car with no more than 3 kilos per horsepower. That's about GT4 level. You can get away with that, but something like a Cup car is slightly beyond that level, that step of performance. So both Urs Frick in the Leipart Lamborghini Huracan and in the SA Performance Porsche, and Franz Binder in the Leipart Motorsport Lamborghini Huracan, they are both running with ballast, and they are running with restrictors on the engine as well. I know that in the case of Urs Frick, who currently runs 10th overall, he's got a 40 kilos and about 50 less horsepower with the restrictor on the engine as well. So then a battle then of the Cup classes. Cup 1 leader Matt Rosner 4th overall, and after some early argy-bargy, Ole Petersen's on the recovery drive.
Indeed he is. Peterson now starting to find his groove. Penalties incoming, though, for being out of position on the start. 4, deep breath, cars 44, 42, 55 and 10. They are the last 4 cars in the running order. Franz Binder, Daniel Reiter, Johnny Pedersen and Bertold Grun, all being given 10-second time penalties for being out of position or in incorrect position at the start. So already a few penalties incoming. Be the last time we see penalties handed out, although into the race it's more track limits that tend to take centre stage. Right now, this battle, as we said, the 4th position overall takes centre stage as Ole Petersen now starts to warm to the challenge. He did qualify, remember, 3rd on the grid, so had good single lap pace, but just was a little overcautious maybe in the opening lap or so. ranges up now behind the Cup 1 spec Ferrari as we head down towards the braking zone at the hairpin, the Spitzkehr at the far end of the circuit. No defensive line taken by Rosner. He didn't need to in the end because Ollie Peterson wasn't quite close enough to go for the move into the braking zone. But always one of the fascinations of GEDLICH Racing. We see this in the Winter Series all the time, in GT Winter Series in particular, where we get the Cup cars that don't often get to share a grid with each other, doing just that and trying to sort of one-up each other sometimes. This makes no difference for class position, but there's a bit of pride at stake, and I think for Ole Peterson in particular, he would like to get into some clean air to see what he can really do, because in qualifying he was only 0.4 of a second slower than Alexander Croker, who qualified on pole position in a full-spec GT3 car. So if Peterson could make this move stick quickly, he could maybe start setting even faster lap times. Finding a way past the Ferrari, though, Adam, is proving to be a challenge.
It always is, isn't it? The Ferrari 296 Challenge car, dehybridized versus the road-going model, which of course does have some electric assistance, but still making some 700 horsepower. The Lamborghini running a measly 620 or so, but different strengths and weaknesses certainly on these cars. And in the Winter Series, we've traditionally seen a lot of exciting battles with these cars, and we're seeing it again here in the Summer Series. Lamborghini looking to the inside, Ole Peterson looking to the inside of Rosner, who's significantly less experienced than Peterson, but he has gone well here in the Hockenheim in the past. He's done limited events in Ferrari Challenge Europe, but when he did come here to Hockenheim last year, that was his best result of the season by quite some margin. So I think he likes it here, and certainly putting on a good show at the moment, holding off Peterson, who is a three-time champion in the Danish Super GT series, very different from the Japanese Super GT series, but one of the premier classes of racing in Denmark, and he's always been incredibly strong in that environment. Did some Porsche Carrera Cup Scandinavia last year, has been hinting at a move away from the silhouette-bodied Danish Super GT cars. He's now got himself this Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo 2, and he's using it to great effect, albeit he's got a prancing horse-shaped roadblock at the moment.
Yeah, and he's been stuck behind for a good number of laps now, and when that happens as a driver, you start to lose all of your momentum that you were carrying up to the back of the car in front of you, and it becomes almost more difficult now to make the overtake. He's figured out where maybe the overtake might happen, but of course Matt Rosner has also figured out where he's under attack and where perhaps the Lamborghini is most likely to make a move, so knows where and how to defend from that potential overtake. Good exit from the last corner for Peterson, but then you can't really do anything into turn one. In these kind of cars, it's a dab on the brakes, down one gear maybe, and then fling it into the right-hander, over the curb for the Lamborghini. Peterson does like curb hopping. That time didn't really seem to gain much time from it.
It's making me grin because I was speaking to him in the Heroes Arena just before we went live, and he goes, yeah, you know, I'm learning the car. This is a learning experience first and foremost. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I've been watching those corner exits, and strikes me as a driver that's trying.
Yes, I think he wants to get this move made, and this happens all the time, doesn't it? Drivers will talk all weekend long about how they're bedding in the car, they're just wanting to get some good track time, you know, learn about the car, particularly early in the season when they're very often in new cars, new to them at least. Stick them in a race with another driver, and all of a sudden that sort of goes out of the window, doesn't it? So, yes, the Lamborghini Super Trofeo machine very much on the attack. Got a group of cars heading towards us at turn number 2, and one of them there is the second place GT4 AM class car of Alexander Danza. I said that he was narrowly ahead of Daniel Reiter a few laps ago. He's dropped Daniel ever so slightly over the last lap or two. He's starting now to build more of a gap in that fight for second position in class. This, meanwhile, is the fight not to be last, and I believe we've just had a change of position. Bertel Gruen in his Audi has got ahead of the Porsche 992 GT3 Cup car of Johnny Pedersen. Johnny, another Cup 2 entrant in what's always a popular class, and he has lost a position there to the GT3 spec Audi, which starts now to disappear further up the road.
Yeah, exactly, and Johnny Pedersen. There's been a change of position. Peterson has gotten past Rosner after several laps of sitting in the waiting room with his legs up and coffee out, and well, sure enough, He is now through into 4th position overall. Can he do anything about anyone in front? It's highly unlikely. He's got a dozen seconds between himself and Hermann Speck, who I think will be very pleased that he executed that move on lap number 1, because he would have probably been in amongst all of this had he not managed to get that move done on the first lap of the race. So to regroup and maybe refocus on the leader, who I don't think we've seen since lap number 1, it is Alexander Croker in the race lead. The number 6 Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2, entered by the SP Racing Cologne outfit, and Croker doing a great job on behalf of Pierre Lemmers, who is the fundee, and the driver coach is Alexander Croker, but he's doing a solid job. Tobias Erdmann in the number 27 car that we see there. He's the GT4 class leader out there on the circuit. The overall race leader, though, will be coming around the last corner at the moment. In fact, probably heading down the main straight as we speak. There it is. Croker crosses the line to be, I imagine, 10 seconds clear, because his race pace is almost as good as his qualifying pace. His best lap of the race is a 1:40.3. In fact, that is better than he did in qualifying, and he's consistently stayed under the 1:41s. Thomas Vestart, meanwhile, set a 40.5 in quali. He's currently around the high 42, low mid 41 bracket at this stage, so Vestarp isn't quite able to match in race pace. Was speaking to Alex Croker ahead of the race, and he said, I'm not quite there with the setup yet. I need to figure out what I need to do to make this thing an iota quicker, and I get the feeling he might have found something, because that car seems to be consistently very quick at the moment. Indeed, we're just looking at Berthold Grun and Pedersen a lap ago, and sure enough, they are now being lapped.
Yes, indeed. So I was going to suggest that maybe his faster lap times now are because the track temperature has dropped since qualifying, but he's the only one going quicker than he went in qualifying, so sort of shoots that theory down in flames, doesn't it? I think it is just that, as you say, he's been tweaking the setup and it's really working for him. This isn't really working for him, though. That is Berthold Grun, who, in fairness, was caught at quite an awkward point, although he's now occupying a slightly defensive line into the hairpin through the arenas section. I don't think he necessarily has secured his place on Alexander Croker's Christmas card list with that bit of driving. The blue flags were waved vigorously by the marshals, but Berthold Grun not leaping out of the way of the similar Audi R8 LMS GT3 of Alexander Croker, who crosses the line. That will not be obviously a new fastest lap of the race, and he's busy flashing the lights again now because traffic continues to loom on the horizon. This is the problem, of course, with being a second or more per lap faster than anybody else. You very soon catch the back of the pack and have to start negotiating some slower drivers and slower cars.
Yeah, absolutely right, and doing so with glee at the moment. He did his early racing on the Nordschleife, so well, traffic management, as we have found out repeatedly, especially recently with the spotlight on the NLS series and the Nürburgring 24 Hours, we've firmly discovered that traffic management is key at the Nordschleife, so not surprised that he's getting that right at the moment. Your Cup 2 leader, meanwhile, just coming across the line at the moment, start another lap. He is running 6th overall. Marco Reinbold still leading the class at the moment, having now secured that place over Mike Janza. He has built a gap, and indeed Janza seems to have got the best of Igor Klyer as well. They were together on circuit for the first few laps. They've now split to about 5 seconds between them. You'll note that there's quite a lot of interesting details in the livery of this car. 30th anniversary, 2022, stuff like that. The reason why is because this car was on display in the Porsche Center Leipzig all throughout the last couple of years. A celebratory car with the name of every Porsche Super Cup race winner ever on it, and was in the Porsche Center Leipzig. Eventually they thought, need something new in the lobby now, and it made its way into the hands of the number 911 team, Marco Reinbold being prepared by XR Racing.
Yeah, great looking car, and he is pretty dominant in that class, isn't he? 7 seconds, give or take, clear of Mike Janza, who's been matching his time since he got himself ahead of Igor Klyer, but hasn't been able to bridge that gap, unfortunately. as through the first corner comes the second place of our GT3 AM cars, Thomas Vestart, the CCS Racing Team example, again now starting to negotiate that traffic. Herman Speck only about 6 seconds back, and again matching the times at the moment of Thomas Vestart. I think Herman will be very pleased with the pace that he's got in the DB Motorsport team Porsche. A little bit too far back to think about maybe climbing one step higher on the podium, but he is winning a very solid third position, as I said, and not really being caught all that quickly by Ole Peterson, who did, to his credit, just set a personal best lap in the Cup 4 Lamborghini in fourth position, but he is about 12 seconds or so back from the third place car.
Yeah, exactly right. Closest battle on circuit, strangely, at the moment, seems to be in the Cup X class. The Cup X class for the cars we alluded to previously that are running under 3 kilos per horsepower with some restrictors and the like. That is the Leipart Motorsport all-black Lamborghini Huracan and the SA Performance Anstalt Frick car. They're just coming down the main straight now, actually, and they are fairly close together, 1.3 seconds between them on the previous lap. There they are in front of the overall race leader. So those two cars directly ahead of the green and yellow Audi are running in the Cup X class. They are running 1-2 in the Cup X class. And I think actually that Franz Binder
Well, as you may have gathered, some technical issues towards the end of the broadcast there for that race, but we can confirm the high positions remaining as they were. Alexander Croker dominating, a 24-second advantage by the end of the race. The CCS Racing Team entry, the 45, Thomas Vestup in second place. Hermann Speck was closing in at the end of the race, but couldn't quite do it in race 1. Let's see what race 2 brings tomorrow morning for him. Ole Peterson, 4th overall, ahead of Matt Rossner in the number 24 car from Gabs Competizione. Marco Reinbold in 6th in the number 911 car. In 7th position would be Mike Janza in the number 3. Then Igor Klaya in the 77. In 9th position, Tobias Erdmann winning the GT4 class from 9th overall. Then Franz Binder in 10th place in the number 44. Then Alexander Danza in at the number 30, following through. In 12th place overall, Daniel Reiter in 13th, Bertold Grun in 14th, Johnny Pedersen rounding out the 15-car order that took the start. Of course, Gregor Danzel, after his issues with the clutch in qualifying, they seemingly continued in the race. He pulled in before the first lap got underway. So GT Summer Series race winner, Alexander Croker.
Well, the first race of the GT Summer Series is done and dusted, and our top 3 are already debriefing. Next to me, Alex, I'm going to start with you. You've stood ever so slightly in the wrong order, but that's okay. I mean, congratulations, our first winner from pole to the win, and it was quite an impressive one in the end, over 20 seconds.
Thank you so much. Yeah, right now I was quite happy with the car, and grip level was a little bit worse than in the morning, of course, because more temperature on the track, but I think we're pretty happy.
And happy for tomorrow as well. I know you'll hand over to your co-driver, Pierre. What kind of tips, what kind of things can you give him for tomorrow?
We will have a look on the data, definitely, because I'm coaching him also besides, and I think I can give him some advices.
So we might see that again tomorrow?
Yes, I hope so.
And certainly in the pit stop race as well.
Yes.
Well, congratulations, our first winner. Right, we will grab a P2. Thomas is just having a chat. Now we'll grab you in. Just, well, P2, so a podium to start. There was a bit of a lonely race, shall we say. He was quite far ahead of you, and then you had quite a big gap behind, but closing towards the end. How was it?
Yeah, yes, the car was good, but Alex was too fast. No chance. Maybe tomorrow, I will see. Tomorrow I start from pole, and I will see.
Yeah, pole position tomorrow, so a good start going to be important as well here.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Congratulations, well done. Great way to start. And we will grab Herman in just quickly. He is also debriefing. Wow, Herman, a podium to start the weekend. Congratulations. Talk us through the race.
Thank you. But you know, a race driver is never happy if it's not number one.
True.
But I'm actually very happy. I didn't expect it. First time with new drivers, new colleagues, so I didn't know how quick or how slow they were. So we tried our best, and I can improve a little bit, another 0.5 of a second, and then, I'm closing up, and now it was good.
Where do you think you can improve for tomorrow?
Every corner.
Yeah.
Just a 10th in every corner, and there you are. No, I think it's difficult. We have to play around with the tire pressure at the end. I had oversteer. But a little bit more grip on the back, and might be 2-3 a tenth more.
Do you think you can do anything about him, or do you think he's too quick for you?
He's a professional driver, if I say so. He's too good. I mean, he's too good, and there's just to keep racing behind him, for me, it's a lot of learning.
Well, you're smiling, so that's the most important thing.
Yes. Well, I didn't expect, we came here, we didn't know the drivers. I didn't expect, being third overall. I'm happy, but, race driver is number one.
Yeah.
Second one is the first loser.
You're absolutely right. Congratulations. Thank you for speaking to us. Well, there are the words from our top three, and Herman is absolutely right, isn't he? I mean, a race driver is never happy unless they are P1. But that is the end of our first GT Summer Series race. But don't worry, the podium will be coming up very shortly, but we've got plenty more action for you from earlier in the weekend in the Heroes Arena.
Welcome back to the Heroes Arena. I'm delighted to be joined by our driver mentor here in the GEDLICH Racing Summer Series, that of course being Frank Bieler. Frank, we spoke to you quite a lot at Barcelona, of course, where you were with us for the Winter Series finale. We're now here in the Summer Series paddock. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to be here, of course. First round of the GT Summer Series. And actually, we were getting in touch yesterday, and I think some of the drivers and the teams, they're maybe a little shy right now, but it's getting better and better. So I'm talking to them, and now for the afternoon I already have 2-3 people to talk to, and maybe help them a little bit. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
No matter what issues they run into, I try to help. Yeah. With the amount of experience, maybe, I think one or the other thing I might be able to sort out. We will find out soon.
Yes.
Talk to them, see how they are, what they want to do, and then we'll see.
I think I've been able to speak to every driver in the paddock for us now, and the impression that I'm getting walking around is that it's quite a relaxed atmosphere. It seems like a really friendly place. Of course, we haven't had the first race yet, so that might change, but I'm getting the impression it's a good atmosphere.
Yes, absolutely. I have the same impression. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody is coming here to have a nice weekend. I mean, we have to be honest. At the end of the day, it's not a world championship race. It's an event for amateurs, privateers, and they want to have a nice weekend. They want to race. They want to enjoy racing, and that's what we try to offer them. Yeah, and one part of it is definitely to stay out of trouble, and that's what we try to avoid. But as you said, so far there's no race being done yet. So let's see how it works when they go out there all together and fight for positions. But so far, pretty nice. They all behave well. I mean, I've spoken to the race director. Everything is fine. But as I just said, I mean, that's the idea. We keep an eye on it. We try to control it, and we try to help them and to make sure that they do have a nice weekend. And Sunday night when they go home, everybody everybody should be happy.
I think the driver mentor is the right man to give us the inside line. If you were talking to someone about this circuit, the Hockenheimring, what would you be flagging to them as kind of the important areas, the areas that might catch you out?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually the circuit has quite changed to the times when I started racing, but it's a quite difficult circuit. I mean, one thing you have to be very aware of is turn one. Always a big risk to run wide. Thanks God, I don't know, 40 years ago we went off and we were stuck in the gravel. Now there's some tarmac, so you just go wide. But whenever you go wide, you get a penalty. So they have to try to avoid this. The other thing is, I think it's a very interesting circuit with a few fast corners, and then some parts which are more tight and very tricky. So it's technically not easy to do this circuit. And then going around the Mercedes Arena, coming back into the Motordrome, it's a difficult thing. This corner is a little bit blind. You see the apex very late, and actually you have to aim a little bit for the last bit of the wall to make sure you hit the apex of the corner. So, but this is, of course, these are, for example, things I can tell them, but then to translate it onto the track, you know, into your driving style, it's another thing they have to cope with. They have to try, and we will work on it.
Well, I look forward to seeing how the drivers take your information this afternoon. We look forward to race number 1. I imagine you'll be watching closely.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah, we look forward to having Frank, of course, as always, here in the Summer Series paddock. And thank you very much, as always, Frank, for being here. We'll catch up with more people in the Heroes Arena later on.
Give me this life so sweet. Give me this life so sweet. 5,000 good times to sky. Rebel heart beating in the summer nights disguise. Whispers in the dark. Behold our story. It's the Junebug beat. That Junebug beat.
Well, welcome back to the Heroes Arena for possibly, apart from the racing, the most hotly anticipated activity that we do have today in the Heroes Arena. It is, of course, the unofficial Hockenheim quiz. Now, I have our 2 contestants alongside me, Andy McEwen and Kieran Mogg, and I have to say, to let you into a bit of inside information, these two have quite the rivalry between them. I did see Kieran in the van swatting up earlier, so we're
but
expecting...
Can I just say, I've forgotten most of it already.
We're expecting big things, Kieran. How are you feeling?
You shouldn't. I'm not commentating this weekend, so I haven't had to make any plans. I haven't had to rehearse. I haven't had to make any kind of documents ready for the racing, whereas you, in theory, should have done.
Yeah, but it's more fun if you make it up as you go along, right? So we're going to see just how well I can improvise here, I think.
Good stuff. Well, this is how it's going to work. So the 2 of you will listen to my questions. Listen very carefully, because, you know, there are going to be a couple of options in these questions, so listen very, very carefully. And whoever thinks they know the answer quickest, you grab the bottle of water that is on your table. Okay, let's not start playing mind games. Let's not start playing mind games. And then you have a chance to answer the question. Should you get the question wrong, your opponent will then have the chance to answer the question as well, but you only get 1 chance each, okay? Everybody understand?
I think so.
All right, on with the quiz. Here we go. Question 1. What year did the Hockenheimring open? Was it A, 1932, B, 1933, or C, 1938? Kieran?
32.
It was indeed 1932, so already a point on the board for Kieran.
I'm not sure that was
Andy,
fair.
we're not off to a great start, but it's okay.
Yeah, but that's all my knowledge
You
gone
can bring
now.
it back. You can bring it back. Next question. The first Formula 1 German Grand Prix held at this track was in 1970. Which driver won it? We're going back to the history. 1970. Go on.
Fittipaldi?
It was not Fittipaldi.
Jackie Stewart?
It was not. I'm sure Adam behind the camera would know the answer to it. It was Jochen Rindt. For a bonus point, can you tell me where he's from? Where he was from?
Country?
Yep.
Or, trick question, right? Austrian?
Correct. Andy is off the mark. Andy has a point. Here we go.
This is mine.
Question 3. The last German Grand Prix was in 2019. Who won this race?
Lewis
Kieran?
Hamilton. Is it not?
2019.
Oh, I'm thinking of 2018.
Oh.
Crap.
Oh. Vettel?
It was not.
Leclerc.
It was not.
No.
Adam once again would know the answer. It was Max Verstappen. So neither of you get a point for that one. Okay, moving on. Question 4. How long is this track? Is it A, 5.128 kilometers, B, 4.910 kilometers, or C, 4.574 kilometers?
B. No?
That is incorrect. Kieran?
A?
That is incorrect. Guys, I really was expecting you to do better
Why
than
were you
this.
expecting
I
that
really
mistake?
was.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay, we still got a couple more questions. Okay, question 5. Please, guys, how many corners are on this track? Oh no! You can't.
That's cheating.
12. No. Are you serious?
Bit higher. Go on, Kieran, give us a guess.
14.
Incorrect. 17.
17.
17? According to the track map, there are 17 corners on this track.
These answers.
I fact-checked
Adam,
them
are they
with
correct?
Adam behind the camera.
Adam
I
says
did
it's
fact-check
correct.
them.
Right,
Okay, so far, Kieran has a point, Andy has a point, and we're already halfway through the question. So it's not
game.
going particularly well for either
I
of
think it's
you.
going about as well as I expected it to.
We can bring it back in the second half
No,
of the
we
quiz. Which of the following is not a corner on this track? Mercedes, Nord Curve, Mobil 1, or Schumacher?
Schumacher.
Correct!
Yes!
And Andy finally has another point. Okay, hopefully that's...
Okay.
We're on a roll now.
Some momentum there.
Question 7, we're now moving on to a little bit about GEDLICH Racing.
Good.
So, they are known for being the organisers of the Winter Series, of course. Now they embark on the Summer Series starting here in Hockenheim. Name one other track the Summer Series will go to. Kieran?
Nürburgring.
Yeah! 2-2.
Well done, Kieran. Well done.
Okay. Question 8. How many races are there this weekend in GT Summer Series?
3.
That's my problem.
It's the age.
Oh, Kieran is storming ahead. And by storming, I mean you have one more point than Andy.
That's storming to me.
Final question.
Yeah.
To tie it up, Andy. Finally, Frank Bieler is helping out as a driver coach and mentor in the GT Summer Series. But how many times has he won Le Mans?
5.
And Kieran is the winner! That's correct, Kieran. So Kieran 4 points.
That's got to be
Andy,
embarrassing for you,
a
hasn't it?
measly 2.
All the research that you should have done ahead of this weekend.
Do you know, some people need their ego to just be stroked every now and again, you know, just a bit of a confidence boost, and I'm here to deliver that for you, Kieran. You're welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't here to deliver it for you.
No, I noticed that. But, you know, it matters more to some people, I suppose.
Okay, before
to you,
these two
yes.
have a fight, I'm gonna let them go. Let's hope that they can maybe do a little bit better when we do another quiz at the next round.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to get our first podium presentation of the GT Summer season underway, and we will start with our Cup X category. We've got 2 drivers to welcome to the Cup X podium. Second position in Cup X, Franz Binder. Out onto the second step of the podium he will go, and he will be very happy to have a trophy on his way. The race win, though, in Cup X goes to Urs Frick. Congratulations, he gets a big cheer from the sizable crowd that we've got gathered here around the Heroes Arena and the podium. A mixture of team members, friends and family, but also some of the fans here this weekend at the Hockenheimring, enjoying the Summer Series season opener. Congratulations to our Cup X drivers. The photos taken by our army of photographers gathered in front of the podium, and they'll gather together on the top step of that podium to celebrate together a successful run in the first race. Congratulations to the GTX podium finishers, to Franz Binder and Urs Frick. They vacate the podium, and we move on next to Cup 1. Just the one driver to welcome onto the Cup 1 podium. Congratulations to Matt Rosner. Out onto the podium, top step is the only place that Matt needs to head, and the trophy will be handed out to our Cup 1 winner. And he is very happy with that. Congratulations, Matt. Pose for the cameras, and a round of applause once again from the crowd assembled around the podium. And the Cup 1 driver, who was up there inside the top 5 overall as well, had a really solid race. Congratulations then to Matt. Our Cup 1 winner leaves the podium. We head next to Cup 2, one of the most competitive classes in that first race of the weekend. Third position in Cup 2, Igor Klyer. Second position in Cup 2, Mike Janza. And he shakes the hand of Igor Klyer on the podium. The top step, though, in Cup 2 belongs to Marco Reibold. A class win, a really strong overall result as well. And Marco, very pleased with that. 3 GT Summer Series podiums to be collected, and 3 different teams represented on the podium as well. PTT, SA Performance and XR Racing. Handshakes all round. They all receive their podium trophies. And once again, the photographs are taken. Cup 2, always a fascinating class to watch. We've enjoyed them in Winter Series over the years. Good to see that we've got some healthy competition amongst the Porsches in the GT Summer Series. Once again, congratulations then to our Cup 2 podium finishers. They vacate the podium and make way in a moment for our Cup 4 winner. And we welcome then onto the top step of the podium the victor in Cup 4, Ole Peterson. With special guest on the podium as well. Ole, the newest member of his fan club, joins him on the top step of the podium. That's lovely to see. Out will come the trophy then to our Cup 4 winner. And the team, along with his friends and family, supporting him. Yeah, the problem is if that gets too close, it goes out on the... Yeah, well, I know. So, the smiles on the podium for Ole Peterson, who is going to very carefully make his way off the podium. You're free to go, Ole. Congratulations. A lovely moment there on the Cup 4 podium. GT3 AM is next. Again, 3 drivers that we will welcome onto the Hockenheimring podium. First of all, our third place finisher in GT4 AM, Daniel Reiter. Third step, which I think, yep, is this side for Daniel. Second position in GT4 AM, Alexander Danza. The WNS Motorsport driver shakes the hand of Daniel Reiter and heads to the third step of the podium. It was a dominant victory in the end, though, in GT4 AM for our race winner, Tobias Erdmann. And he gets a great round of applause from the crowd down below. Handshakes with Daniel and Alexander, and again gets his winner's trophy, the first one he hopes of at least 3 if he can have a successful rest of the weekend here at Hockenheim, as the sun continues to beat down on the Heroes Arena, which has been a hive of activity all weekend long. Holds the trophy aloft, points to the team who are off in the sidelines, cheering him on after what's been a fantastic race in the GT4 AM class. Some good early battles, but Tobias really got himself out of there pretty swiftly and was dominant in a victory. We've got another young member of the fan club on the podium as well, posing for the photos with our top 3 in GT4 AM, Daniel Reiter, Alexander Danza and Tobias Erdmann. Congratulations then, GT4 AM podium concluded. One more to go, and it is for the GT3 AM class. And we welcome in a moment, podium now clear, our third place finisher in GT3 AM, Hermann Speck. Congratulations, Hermann, on to the third step of the podium. Oh, he's promoted himself nearly there to second place. Third on the podium for Hermann. Second tomorrow, he says. Yes, we'll hold you to that. Second position in GT3 AM goes to Thomas Verstappen. Out to the second step he goes, shakes the hand of Hermann. But to the top step, after a dominant race victory, the SP Racing Cologne squad celebrate the win, courtesy of Alexander Croker. The Audi banners are flying, and he has a lot of support as he heads to the top step. The last set of GT Summer Series trophies will be brought out. And big smiles on the face of Alexander Thomas and Hermann Speck, who get one last round of applause from the crowd gathered around the Heroes Arena. Well, that just about concludes our first podium presentation. A brilliant first day of action here in the GT Summer Series. 2 more races to come tomorrow, of course, with the second sprint race and the third and final race, the pit stop race. And will we have the same cars finishing in the top 3 positions? We wait and see. Well, that is the conclusion of our opening race, and we've got Izzy and Adam. There you are. I lost you for a second there, Adam. Izzy, fantastic stuff. You want this back, I suppose.
I kind of do. It feels a bit strange to have you having the mic and not me, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, a fantastic first day of action, boys. I know you've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's so good to see so many people, Adam, here down at the podium.
Yeah, sorry, I thought Andy was going middle there. Yes, it was really good to see all the teams celebrating and all the drivers getting to celebrate on the podium. It's one of the complications of a lot of racing, certainly at a national level, is there's no time for podiums. Rough, can't do it. We've set up a podium here. We had the celebrations for everybody in all of their classes, and that was really, really good to see. And a great race, a great performance from Tobias Erdmann in the GT4 category, and then mirroring also in an Audi, the SP Racing clone machine of Alex Croker dominated that one at the front.
Certainly was a domination from Alex Croker. I mean, pole position, and then he was really just running his own race out there. I said to Herman afterwards, can you do anything about this guy tomorrow? And he was like, nah, he's too fast. But we'll see if anybody else can tomorrow.
Well, Herman's up for the fight, isn't he? Just told me he's heading for the second step at least tomorrow. I mean, the 2 races tomorrow could well have a different complexion to them. We've got a few different drivers jumping into a couple of the cars tomorrow that we haven't yet seen. I don't think it's going to be the same sort of domination. Slightly different conditions tomorrow as well. A bit more cloud, cooler temperatures, the threat of rain maybe. All ingredients that could add a bit of spice to the mix for sure.
It certainly could do, but that does bring us to the end of day 1 here in Hockenheim. As the boys have said, we have 2 more races to look forward to tomorrow. Make sure you join us then.